So a lot of people have been asking me a ton of questions about the Disney College Program, and since I didn't have the most interesting week, or not interesting enough to vlog, I decided to go ahead and make this video talking a bit about the application process, what comes after, what exactly is the Disney College Program, and what my role is. The first thing I want to talk about is what is the Disney College Program. The Disney College Program is essentially like an internship for college students. They get to choose a park and they get to go down and they work from however long they choose, what semester. It all depends on your college and how long you want to be there. The application process is just like any other job application. You add things like your name, your phone number, your university, job history. I think you can like add a resume, but it's not required. If you were a former cast member and then you get into other things like your role preference and stuff like if you are legally able to work in the US or wherever else, and then you pretty much finish it off with like an e-signature, and you should get a confirmation for applying in the next hour or so. Honestly, it really just depends. I got mine relatively quick. I got mine literally right after. And what came after was the web interview. The web interview is basically this survey of questions. It takes you through different scenarios and personality-based questions, and if you answer them well, then you will qualify for a phone interview, or you won't qualify for a phone interview. And the time range from that, I honestly think is from like the next couple of hours to days to maybe even a week. Or you don't get a phone interview at all, which sucks, but just reapply the next time. I got my phone interview basically right after my web interview, and it's not as intimidating as everyone thinks. Yeah, you're gonna get really worked up about it, but if you watch enough videos, if you prepare yourself, if you read over like basic questions that people have written out on Disney vlogs, you will do fine, I promise you. Something that someone recommended to me was going into the bathroom or going into a room that has a mirror and looking at yourself while you're talking on the phone and kind of forcing yourself to smile, because they can kind of tell like what kind of mood you're in, if you're smiling, if you're not. Basically, if you have that Disney attitude that they're looking for in the phone interview. So I have a list of questions here that are kind of generic questions that everyone kind of seems to ask. But it's not always going to be the same. Something that's going to happen, like it did with me, is they're going to ask you a question, and then based off of your answer, they're going to kind of like build an interview based off of what you answer and who you are, to make it more of a personalized interview so they can get a better like grasp on who you are and what kind of worker you're going to be. So some of the generic questions are: what are you most looking forward to? What does Disney mean to you? What can you offer the company? What would you look for in a college program applicant? How will it help you professionally? Are you willing to maintain the Disney look, which I will get into later. Obviously, I don't meet the Disney look yet. Have you ever been to Walt Disney World or Disneyland? And then they're going to ask you a bunch of work-related stuff. If you like working in a group setting or independently, if you like working outside or inside, when do you like to work? Describe yourself in 3 words. Just generic like job interview questions. Your questions are also going to be based off of what your roles were, like what your selections were, because in the application process you do have a list of roles that you're supposed to fill out on which one you want, like a priority system. Like you want your top priority job, and then if you can't get that, you'll get the second, and if you don't have that, you'll get the third. I don't know how they group people into getting what they want. I don't know if it's best fit for doing so. I know it is for character performer. You have to go to an audition and then they like hand select you for being a character performer. But that comes after the application process. They'll sign you up for one and you'll go audition, all kinds of stuff. Something to note about the character performer: if you do get a job as a character performer, if you are selected to be a character performer, you have to do that job. You cannot be what you were when you got accepted. If you're an attractions worker, but then you later were accepted to be a character performer, you have to be the character performer. There's like no going back on that. Depending on what roles that you have, your questions are going to be based off of those as well. I'm also going to be posting the links to a lot of like where you can find the information. There's a really good like website that's self-run, I think by like one or maybe a couple people now. It's called the Disney College Program Bible. I found it on the Facebook page. for the spring term of 2018, which I'm currently going to attend. I will post a link to that as well as like where you can apply and different vloggers that I think are really good and kind of give the most realistic outlook on the Disney College Program. They make it seem very realistic, but also can make it look like you're going to have a lot of fun as well. After your phone interview, you're going to be pretty much playing the waiting game. It sucks and it's very nerve-wracking, but you're going to have this kind of dashboard looking thing on a website, and it's going to tell you the steps that you have completed before being accepted or being rejected from being in the Disney College Program. And after the phone interview is probably the most like nerve-wracking part, because you are literally waiting a couple weeks. They say it's about 2 weeks, but if you fill it out as soon as the applications go live, you're going to be waiting until like the first round of, I guess they call them waves, the first wave of people that they've accepted. So that might be 3 weeks, that might be like a month. They usually start in October. So if you don't get it immediately, like don't stress, don't stress out if you don't get it in 2 weeks. Just wait until October or November when they actually start releasing if they've accepted or if they've rejected people. Once you've been accepted, you are going to get an email that says congratulations, you have been accepted. It's really cool, and you're also going to get a postcard. I'll find a place to put it somewhere. And then you are going to have to lock down that spot. That means paying a fee, filling out a couple forms, watching a video, filling out like signing up for housing. You won't like actually sign up for housing, but you'll sign up for pretty much let them know if you're going to live in Disney housing or if you're going to live in like a different apartment. And you also find out what your role is at that time. Like I said, you gotta kind of wait for the auditions. Those come out later, but you will find an attached document that shows what role you are. My role is attractions. Now, I don't know where I'm working or what ride I'm working. I'm going to find that out when I go to Disney during traditions or when I start the training. I imagine I'll find out around then. I've not yet found out. But if you work in like quick service, if you're a host, I think if you're basically anything else, they will tell you where you're going to be, so you have more of an idea of what you're doing. And I will post like some links to roles and role explanations as well in the description. After that, you're going to do more waiting, essentially. You've been accepted, you've locked your spot in, you know what you're going to do. Now you have this 2 to 3 month gap where you have absolutely nothing to do. You are so eager to get down there. Honestly, I really recommend researching what you're doing, figuring out what to bring, and kind of getting all your ducks in a row. I don't know, is it ducks in a row, ducks in a line? I really don't know. Everything kind of set up so you are ready to go to Disney when the time comes. What to bring and where to live. Okay, so there are 4 different places that you can go to live at Disney. There's Chatham Square, Patterson Court, the Commons, and Vista Way. And the way housing works is pretty simple. It makes you pretty broke, I'm not gonna lie. Or from what I've heard, it really just depends where you live and what kind of job you have and how much you're being paid. But housing works, so you kind of sign up for what housing you want. It's kind of like if you've ever applied for a dorm, you might not get what you want, you might. They all have different cost ranges between like how many rooms you have, how many roommates, where you're living, and Disney will take that fee, that housing fee, out of your check every week. But keep in mind, you're working like 80 hours a week. You're making quite a bit of money, it's just you have to pay like this stuff, so you're left with maybe 100, 150 bucks a week, which, I mean, we've lived on worse as college students. Okay, and what to bring. So you're going to bring bedding for a twin mattress, a TV, clothes, you know, business casual clothes for traditions. You need to bring formal wear for traditions, and if you're taking classes, I've heard you also have to wear kind of like semi-formal or formal wear to the classes as well. Bring like stuff if you want, like a coffee maker or a toaster, a tea kettle, a blender, different kitchen utilities, shoes. Some things not to bring are like candles, they already have a fridge, but you know, it's like a dorm. You can't have candles, you can't have cigarettes, bongs, drug stuff. Weapons, definitely no weapons. I don't think they allow bicycles or skateboards, and they do have a list of provided stuff in the apartments already. They're already furnished. I will post a list to the DCP Bible where it has everything that you need to know, almost, pretty much. In the housing, there are also going to be random inspections. They're not, I guess they're not necessarily random. They'll give you like a 2 weeks heads up unless you've been reported for suspicious activity. Then it will be random, and they can check everything. In the monthly inspections, they don't. They can't. But if it's reported as suspicious, they will. And if they find something, you'll be automatically termed. On the website that I'm reading, they say if you ask people who have done the DCP in the past, they will say to bring a car. Totally bring a car. Because sometimes the transportation can't be that, like, relied on, I guess. Disney transportation to your job is perfectly fine, but if you want to go anywhere else, the buses, I heard, aren't as reliable as you think they are. So definitely bring a car, and there will be a fee, and since you're paying the fee, you're basically agreeing to terms as they can search your car, but I mean, don't give them a reason to search your car. When you arrive, you basically select your arrival date. There are different dates in January and February. Since I'm doing the spring term, you're going to be paired with people who are moving in on the same day. So once you all get there, you'll check in at whatever apartment complex you're at. You'll start unloading things, carrying them in. One thing to note is that all the doors lock behind you. They always lock. So make sure you always have your key. It's really bad if you have like a handful of stuff, you walk up the stairs and you go to unlock the door and you don't have your key and you're just kind of stuck outside with all this junk you don't know what to do with now, and you don't know who's going to let you in, so always have your key with you on moving in. Another thing to note about moving in is that housing applications actually don't go live until like a month or like 3 weeks before you move in, and that seems pretty like wild to me. I mean, honestly, I'm moving in January 22nd, so that means I won't get my application until like the first week of January, which makes me wonder when I get my information on where I'm living. It could be different. I really don't know. That's what I've heard. What to expect working. Don't go to the Disney College program if you think it's all going to be like a big vacation from college. It's not. It's a job. Go to work. Go with a mindset that you will be working. You're going to be working a lot, and if you're not ready for this, just don't sign up for it. You do get discounts. You get a lot of benefits. You get free tickets, all kinds of stuff. And it's so much, there's so much information that, again, I'm just going to post a link to everything. And what to do with your free time. You will have free time. You can request off, but, you know, it's got to be approved like a normal job. You might not always get it off, which is fine, but I'm sure if you request a couple days off, you will get it. Have a bucket list of everything you want to do in Disney, everything you want to do in Orlando. There's a lot to do outside of Disney as well. Make the most out of your trip. Yeah, you're there to work, but have fun. And one person that I've seen have so much fun while working there, his name's Kevin, and he's a vlogger, and he's honestly my favorite Disney College Program vlogger right now. I'm totally gonna link him. Kevin, you're awesome. You're very good. I enjoy your vlogs a lot. And I think the last thing I'm gonna touch on is the Disney look. The Disney look, I mean, if you're going to be a character performer, then you really don't have to worry about it a whole lot. You're going to have everything kind of laid out for you, what to wear, what to look like, your hair or your makeup. If you're anything else, you know, girls, everyone has to have like a very natural hair color. That's girls and guys both. Girls, I don't think there's a length like that you have to be in between. Guys, there is. You have to keep it short, like it cannot go past the ears. Like honestly, I honestly think mine's way too much for going down there and working right now, so I'm definitely gonna get it trimmed up. And guys, you can't wear earrings either, or no one can show tattoos. Cover them up. They sell makeup to cover them up. You can buy long sleeve shirts. I really don't recommend it because it's Disney, it's hot, it's Florida. So definitely see about looking into buying makeup to cover a tattoo up if you have a tattoo. Girls, back on the earring thing, you can actually wear earrings, but only like one set, and they can be way too flashy. I think they have to be pretty basic earrings. So if you have multiple piercings, you can't wear all of them. You can't have any facial piercings. Guys, for beards, you have to be very cleanly trimmed. This, for me, again, is not very cleanly trimmed. You might not be able to tell from far away, but up close it's really rough and scraggly. But I also haven't left the house today, or my dorm, not house. And finally, I lied. It's not the last thing I want to touch on. The last thing I want to say is, again, make the most of it. Have fun. Don't let it alter your view of Disney, because Disney is such a fun place to go to, and I've spent so much of my life going here on family vacations. And afterwards, you can apply for the Alumni Association, where you get a really cool shirt that says, hey, I worked at Disney, I worked here. And you can actually go back for like a professional internship, or you can go back and work again. You get more benefits. I think you get to select like what you want to do, or when you want to go more. And since you've already worked there, I think they'll kind of abide by your preferences. So I hope this answered like a bunch of general questions about the Disney College program. If there are any like very specific questions that you want answers to, then please let me know. I can definitely try to research that for you guys. If you're just here to kind of check out what the Disney program is like, then I hope that this kind of gave you an insight to what you want to do and if you want to sign up for it. The last thing is I will be posting Disney vlogs when I get there. But for now, check out my other vlogs. I will post them here somewhere. Like, share, subscribe, all that cool stuff. And I'll see you guys next week.